Hey guys, it's Bowser here with another video for Penny Stock Data Science. Before we begin, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. More people subscribe, better content we can put out there. And so today we're going to be talking about Form 211 and the PQE status for tickers that are traded on OTC markets. So to begin, PQE, you probably already know, proprietary quote eligibility, either yes or no. It's largely determined based on the Form 211 status for every company. This really wasn't an issue in the past because nobody was getting delisted to expert or gray market and all that stuff. But now that we have tickers that do the rule change get delisted to expert market or gray or whatever, they lose that PQE eligibility, and then when they go back to pink, pink limited, pink current, they no longer have that, and they are what we call unsolicited quotes. And I'm sure you've probably seen this before. We have a couple examples here, tickers that when you go on the OTC Markets page, the security is eligible for unsolicited quotes only. You go down here, PQE status no. So we see this a lot on the tickers that uplist back from expert to the pink levels, and it's definitely a problem. Maybe you haven't noticed it if you're not trading those, or you are and you're not looking at the level 2, but it really messes around with the quoting eligibility and the level 2, and these tickers just trade weird. I mean, it really just has to do with the quotations, but at least in my experience, they don't trade right. It's hard to tell what's going on. Obviously, the level 2 is going to look weird because there's restrictions on the quotations and all that stuff. They tend not to get as much volume because people don't want to trade them. Overall, it's negative for tickers when they are unsolicited quotes only, as opposed to the solicited quotes where they would have PQE eligibility. So the issue here is, okay, well, how do I know if a ticker has submitted a Form 211, which is what's required unless there's the piggyback rule and all that, but how do I know if a company has submitted a Form 211 to FINRA so they can get solicited quoting again? That's the big question, because OTC Markets has nothing and FINRA has nothing. So myself, trader, developer, I reached out to FINRA, emailed back and forth a few times. I'm not going to show you the emails here, but basically either they didn't know that people want to see this information, or they did and they just weren't doing anything about it. Either way, emailed a few times, and they informed me that they have added Form 211 status to their roadmap for 2023 to add to the FINRA API. Now you might be asking, what is the FINRA API? Basically, this is just their public data that you can get an API key, you can pull it, or probably what you've seen before is the FINRA daily list for OTC, and we can pull that up here. So over here, so this is, you're familiar with this, the OTC daily list. So these are the type of things that FINRA puts out there for public view. So we have here there's only today because this is a weekend, but if you change this, then you start to see stuff for splits, stuff like that, dividends, and they have all this other stuff here, share volume. If you go onto the API itself, there's stuff about short volume and a lot of other stuff, and it's all here. So this is the nice thing. I reached out, I asked them about it. They said, hey, we're adding to the roadmap. The earliest it's going to be done is Q4 2023, so maybe 2024. We'll see. But if they do add it, I don't know if they would add some page here to see things like that, or if it's just going to be part of the API. If you go to the FINRA API Developer Center and you go to the docs and all that stuff, they have stuff here, so you can see all the different things that you can get, and you can pull. And there's stuff here. It includes the stuff that I just showed you, like the daily list, but there's a lot of different data sets here. And from what they told me, the Form 211 status will be in here, so maybe it won't be on the web page, but if you have some kind of tool that's going to be pulling data from here, which I plan to do, you'll be able to see the 211 status, this is hopefully depending on what they do, but whether one's been submitted, one hasn't been submitted, whether it's been accepted or whether it's pending review, all these different things. That way, if you're in a ticker, if you have a position on something where it's unsolicited quotes and you want to know, hey, when is this going to get solicited quotes, that'll increase liquidity, increase volume, give you a better exit strategy. Or maybe you want to buy something that is unsolicited and you're thinking, hey, if I buy this now, maybe it's cheap because nobody wants to trade it, or you think you can get a good fill on the bid or something. Then the question is, okay, well, when is this going to get solicited quoting, and maybe it'll turn into bullish for you. Maybe you buy something cheap at a penny, get solicited quoting, better level 2, better liquidity, and then it goes up 2, 3, 4 cents. Just all hypothetical, of course, but really big news, at least I think so. So we'll see what happens with this. We'll see if FINRA ends up developing it, Q4, or maybe it moves to Q1 2024. We will see. But in the end, it's going to be very helpful to get a better idea of what is going on with certain companies, and also if they're lying. Maybe they say, hey, we submitted a 211 blah blah blah, but you go on here and you look at the API and it says no. You'll know if maybe some company or CEO whatever is lying on Twitter, stuff like that. So overall good, and that's all we have for today. Keep your eyes out for another video, and please make sure you hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel.